Good evening to you all. My question is with Ms. Meenakshi Lekhi, Mrs. Meenakshi Lekhi. She mentioned about judiciary and CAG, the importance of CAG. But do we know that India's CAG is only AG, Auditor General. It has no comptroller powers. And you are talking about strengthening them. So is there any one revolution, any one step taken by BJP or any other party to strengthen CAG? Because there was some criticism in Jan Lokpal that some of the powers with Lokpal will be about giving directions to government offices to how to carry out the functions. But we have CAG already in place, but it's only AG. So to make it CAG, any steps you will take?
I'm sorry, I haven't caught on completely, but what I've understood is you're saying the Comptroller Auditor General.
It has no comptroller powers.
Yes, and only the auditing powers. I am fairly not agreeable to this part, but my second take is that CAG has existed since we got our constitution and since we got independence post that. And there have been scandals after scandals, because initially in 1950 itself, 51, the Jeep scandal came about. And now most of you will be surprised that all the revered elements in the history books, Jawaharlal Nehru, Krishna Menon, etc., were party to that scandal. I'm sure the history of India can directly be connected with the progress, with the amount of money which has been captured in the scandals. That's one aspect. The second aspect is, in spite of those powers, why was not a single scam coming out? The scam was not coming out because these appointments were always political appointments. And that is where my problem comes, that most of these institutions have to be absolutely insulated from political interference if we want true democracy to work. Whatever CAG has been able to do is been able to do because this man probably had the grit and the positioning that he used his position to unearth these scandals. And that is where I always say, if the right people reach the right places, the country will improve. The disappointment is the right people are not making to the right places, and that's where we need systemic changes so that right people make to the right places. That you have a Comptroller Auditor General, similarly CVC's case. If we can go back, that Thomas was being appointed as the CVC, and Supreme Court had to come in, intervene and remove that man who was himself involved in a pummeling corruption case with Rajiv Gandhi government, ex-import case. So under those circumstances, if political interference, and this is what has happened in judiciary also, that how emergency, there was a verdict by Justice Khanna in the emergency case, the famous case where emergency, and this was a dissenting judgment, and a whole lot of people wrote decisions in favor of the Congress government. So, and personally, I've come from a family who has suffered during emergency quite a lot because illegal things happened. And to the extent, can you imagine, whenever people talk about civil society movement, Hazare movement and all, and compare it with emergency, I have my very, very serious doubts. Can you imagine that police could walk into somebody's house, remove a lawyer's books, remove air conditioners, remove utensils from the kitchen, and not allow children to go to school? Do you think that's a possibility today? Answer is no, we are not in emergency situation. And of course, corruption is very, very strong issue, and we need to remove corruption. And the only way corruption can be taken care of, institutionalized corruption has to be removed from the institutions. And somewhere you need to insulate these systems from political interference and make them independent bodies so that people on merit only come. And whether it's the institution of judiciary, it's institution of CAG, it's the institution of CVC, it's the parliament as an institution, it's bureaucracy as an institution. Right people need to reach places, and somewhere merit should not be ignored. The whole problem lies that within political parties also meritorious people are ignored. And somewhere psychophancy takes over, and that's where demerits come into the system. And that is the part we need to take care of.
Yeah. Can you have the next question?
I have like basically 3 questions. The first question is addressed to all the 4 panelists. We certainly cannot in today's scenario be totally apolitical. We have to be involved in politics to see the change. But what we can do is reduce the complexity of the current political scenario. So what are your views on adopting the 2-party system in India? India basically has close to 250 unregistered political parties. So if we only have 2 political parties, do you think it will help us see some positive change in India? That's question 1. Question 2 is to Kiran ma'am. You spoke all about how important voting is in today's scenario and how we need to vote and be a part of the system. But I have a list of 4 voters in front of me. One of them has a corruption case against him, the other has an extortion, the third has a murder, and the fourth has a rape case. I have to vote for them because I have to exercise my vote and be a part. But who do I vote for?
I want to answer that. I don't think you're right when you say that when you go in to vote, you necessarily have all 4 candidates are that tainted.
I'm giving you a very hypothetical.
Yeah, you're giving me, that is why I'm saying it is very too hypothetical.
But
that is really not the case. There are areas in India where that happens and there are people, but it has become much, much less. You don't have people like that. And who you must, if you have that option, if it's a Lok Sabha election, vote for the party that you want in power at the center.
But
because even if he's committed rape, he's not going to go in there and rape anybody. He is going to be put in, the party will take care of him. If you believe in the cleanliness and the good intentions of the leadership of that party, and you have these doubts that this person has committed this, which I highly doubt, because I have never come across an election where 4 candidates are all either rape or murder or, you know, something like that. It really doesn't really happen. And I think the corruption and the charges are far more nuanced and subtle. And most of them are about moral corruption and about financial corruption, sadly. That's where they all are.
Okay, and the last question, again to you specifically, but anyone could choose to answer. You spoke a lot about the current party in power being able to do nothing to improve the situation.
Yes.
But I would like to ask, what has the opposition done till date to improve the current scenario? The opposition is the largest majority. So what has they done, and why does it take an Anna Hazare, who is absolutely not associated to any political party, to bring about a change, to revolutionize and get millions
This is
of
the
people
question
on
I was
the
waiting for the whole evening. I want to tell you this.
So isn't
This
Anna
is the
Hazare
question.
then apolitical, and isn't apolitical then the way
No,
forward
no,
to bring
1
about
minute.
a change?
Anna Hazare is not apolitical either. Let me tell you why he's not. Because he's trying to rouse you to get the correct leaders in. He's not trying to tell you that you don't vote for anybody and idhar hi aakar nachte raho sadak ke upar. He wants the Jan Lokpal bill to be passed by the parliament. He can't implement it himself, if you talk about Anna Hazare. But what I am talking about is, you said, why has the opposition not been able to do anything? How can the opposition do anything? It is the government that legislates. It is the government that makes these bills and passes them. It is the government of the time, which has been there for the last 2 terms, that has politicized every institution in the country. Whether it is the president's office, whether it is the vice chancellor's office, the governor's office, everything has been politicized, my dear. It's coming out every day in the media. That's why I say, please watch the news. Please watch the news, and not just 1 or 2 days, and not just 1 or 2 channels.
I like to add on.
Yeah? You want to add? I know.
Add on.
Yeah, because the opposition has constantly brought this into the focus. This fight against corruption has started from the last elections, when Mr. Advani went to the masses saying, bring back the Swiss bank, talking about the Swiss bank accounts. And Dr. Manmohan Singh promised to get it back in 100 days, or let the prices come down in 100 days. And what happened? It's been many hundreds of days, but prices have only gone up, and the money in the Swiss banks is not only coming out, they've made sure that you'll never be able to find out what are the names. So the government in power is we can only bring it into focus. We can only discuss it in the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha and in the media. We can take out rallies, but you can't. The problem is that everybody has started saying that, oh, now they are going to jump onto the bandwagon of this. It's not the bandwagon. I would like to think that civil society has jumped onto the bandwagon also of the people, which is the opposition, which made the maximum number of noise against corruption. Mrs. Sushma Swaraj was the one who was against Mr. Thomas being appointed as CVC. Ultimately, the Supreme Court had to tell him to go. Mr. Arun Jaitley has raised it in the Rajya Sabha so many times. 2G spectrum scam he was talking about for 1 year before the Supreme Court had to take. The CBI comes under the government. So it is not going to investigate the government with this party in power, unfortunately. That's the truth of the matter, which is why we are coming to colleges to talk to you people, to wake you up.
Ma'am, I'm sorry, but I like to add on. Where she's left, I'm just adding on to your whatever she said, and I'll start from the bottom. Your question was, what has opposition done? So I'll start from here. Though I can answer in one line that bi-party system, more or less, I agree with. And who you elect, if 4 people are such horrible people as you have described, I agree with ma'am that there need not be 4, there could be 1 or 2 and 3 and 4 may be right. And then the comparative statistics may work. Plus, the answer is if you want right people to come, right people have to join the right parties. And further, there has to be electoral reform. And that is where it all comes from. The third question, which is the most important for me this evening, what has opposition done? So with dates, I'm going to give you my analogy. The analogy is 26th of April.
Ms. Lekhi, we need to keep it short.
Okay, 26th of April, Mr. Govindacharya had the press conference on money has to be black money, which is stacked up outside, should be brought back to the country. 28th of April 2010, Mr. Advani talks and has a hugely covered press conference, all media channels, everyone present, and he says corruption needs to go and the money needs to be brought back. In November and December, Baba Ramdev starts the movement, starts running the vehicles all across the country. And around that period, all the scams start churning out, which is 2G, CWG, Kalmadi, so on and so forth. And at that point in time, Anna Hazare, being the man he is, with all due respect to him, a man who's absolutely anti-corruption, but not necessarily I have the same words to say about the group of 5 which is chasing him, selects him to be the leader. And at that point in time, they choose to bring him to the forefront and run the bandwagon which has been stirred up by the opposition, the entire youth wing of BJP, the entire Mahila Morcha of BJP ran the Padyatras and all the things across the country for anti-corruption and price rise campaign. And on that bandwagon, Anna Hazare movement rode, and they were sitting on the fringes with their Lokpal bill, which was in store for 5 years, and this anti-corruption movement was reduced into a pro-Lokpal movement, and that is my problem with civil society movement. And my problem further with the civil society movement is that most people who were stirred up by the anti-corruption movement just took on this mantle of pro-Lokpal, and which is itself an institution of corruption, a systemic corruption, which is another issue on another debate.
I would just mention two lines about two-party system. Nobody intensely talked about it. I would just mention 2 lines. There's a very simple logic. We are not United States. We are a secular and diverse India. We have several languages and dialects. We cannot narrow down to Republicans and Democrats. And the last thing we want is Mayawati sitting at Ramleela Maidan on a hunger strike. Thank you.